The other night I fell asleep on the chair, which I have to say is something I do with pretty embarrassing regularity. And I woke up about 3:30 in the morning, and I woke up with this phrase in my head, and the phrase was all difference, or every difference is value difference. And I could hear it, I must have been dreaming or something, but I'd heard this phrase, somebody saying that in my head, in this really growly voice. And in fact I made a video kind of trying to duplicate the sound that I just heard in my head, part of this dream. I mean, the video was a bit weird because it was, as I say, it was early in the morning and there was no light, and I was wearing this hoodie, which I wear sometimes. So I looked like that YouTube user who kind of hides his identity. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, every difference is value difference, and I've been thinking about that since. Because as I say, I just made it because I'd heard that sentence, that phrase intoned. But I've been thinking about it since, and I think, well, I can think of a couple of things that I know about which it might have come from, things that I'm interested in, it might have come from. I mean, the first thing is a really interesting mathematical idea that I've just been very fond of for years, which is this idea by George, well, it's a set of theories associated with George Spencer Brown called the laws of form. It's kind of boundary maths, and he derives a set of mathematical operations from kind of first principles, with the very first principle being distinction, acting an act of distinction, which you divide the whole into parts. You take an undivided surface and you make a division, and you usually do it by drawing a circle, and that's the first act. And that first distinction, I think, is associated with value, and that gets its numerical value. It builds numerical value differences out of that principle. So that's the first association I have with it. And the second association I have is more to do with evolutionary psychology, or evolutionary biology really, evolutionary physiology, the evolution of the senses. So it seems to me that the way that our senses operate, and indeed the brains that augment and integrate and do things with that sensory data, they must be tuned to something like value, with value in evolutionary terms being reproductive success or survival value, enhanced survival possibilities. There will be no, in evolutionary terms, there will be no difference in me being able to tell the difference in one coloured plant from another coloured plant, unless that difference had some kind of survival value, which allows me to say, oh, this plant is edible and this one isn't, at a glance, or one, I'm struggling for examples now. The taste of one object is different from the taste of another, that difference. And I could assign those things values. And the only reason why I would assign them values, the only reason there would be a difference, an observable difference in the first place, a gustatory taste difference in that case, again, is because there would be ultimately a survival difference, or a difference in reproductive success. So the same thing must apply to every single sensation, every sound, every taste, every touch. The whole world that I'm looking at here, which is rather prettily enacted in Trellissic Gardens here, is a pattern of difference, isn't it? It's a pattern of distinctions between what I think of as colours and textures and sounds and sensations of different kinds, but are actually differences in value. It's almost as if the whole world is painted with small variations in survival potential. Yeah, so all value is value different. All difference is value difference. I think that makes a kind of sense. Kind of. I've gone spooky. Let's see if I can get that look. I can't get the name of that guy actually, but he looks like this. He looks like this, and he's got his head down. I think he hides his identity because he's an atheist and he doesn't want his employers to know. I think he works in the school. Doesn't matter in England. You kind of have to be an atheist in England. So it's like this, and he talks with a different kind of voice. What's his name? Got two words run together. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I just look like one of the Sith. Never mind.